It's noon on Tuesday, April 12th, and this is news that you can use from YAA with your dear friends Zach and Ray. And apparently, we're sitting by a stalled production facility of Toyota automobiles.
So this was fascinating. This was the headline in automotive news yesterday. We didn't get to it because we were chatting with the Black Book team. If you haven't watched yesterday's show or listened to the podcast, please do. The Black Book team provided a ton of incredible information. This is the big story, though, Dad. Toyota old inventory ways are gone. Now, last year, we heard from General Motors, Ford, BMW, and Daimler. Probably some others, and we may have missed the headlines. They said, hey, the days of having 60, 90, 120 cars on a dealer's lot,
120-day supply of cars.
120-day supply cars on a dealer's, they're gone. They're gone. Reason being, we've realized we can make more money when we keep fewer vehicles on a dealership lot. This is Toyota, the largest manufacturer of automobiles in the world. Saying here,
Number one retailer in the world.
The days of Toyota having roughly 45 days of inventory on hand are over, says North American sales chief Bob Carter, but he'd like more vehicles on hand than Toyota has now, which is not surprising.
Yeah, because they have about a 17-day supply of vehicles in their dealers' inventories. So yeah, I'm sure they'd like to have something more than 17 days worth of cars on a lot.
Now we heard, and this is not anything confirmed yet, so we're not going to name names or anything like that.
We're not even going to point fingers.
We're not even going to point fingers.
Yeah.
We're hearing rumblings. That the industry might just want to stop producing 2022s and just stockpile supplies for 2023s.
So that they can have a normal model year production run in 2023.
You look at this news from Toyota, they're saying, hey, we're going to adopt the same methodology that these other automakers have already said they're going to do. We're on board. The largest one saying, hey, we're on board with less supply on a dealer's lot. What's going to stop them from this rumbling that we're hearing of, okay, 2022s are done. You made an order. That's great and everything. Now it's going to be a 2023. And we'll tell you, I don't know, in August when we start doing the production. Like, we're potentially on the precipice here of dealerships all doing factory orders, even though Toyota doesn't do that. And dealerships all not having inventory for a set period of time here. And it's a bit of a reset. Like, this is crazy.
And think about the dealerships trying to figure out what to do with all that open lot space that they have.
Drive-in theaters.
Could be, either that or they have to move their locations closer to sporting arenas so that they can use it as parking lots during sporting events.
Potentially.
Yes.
David says, is there a link to the EV YouTube tapes? Yes. If you just go to our channel and then go to featured channels, you can go check out YAA Electric. And Gabriel.
Well, where's the link?
That's where it is, Dad.
Oh, well, put it in the thing.
What are you talking about? You literally wait. All right. Sorry, gang. That triggered me, Pops. That triggered me because what are you talking about? You literally go. I'm going to screen share. You literally go.
Yeah.
View your channel. I'm on the YA channel. Okay, stop. And then you scroll down.
Yeah.
And it's got the featured channels and it's YA Electric.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. That's how you do it.
All right.
I'm glad you taught me.
So, but here, what's fascinating about this, Dad, is the fact that it's Toyota coming out and saying it. And the fact that we already have so few vehicles on the ground and these rumblings that we're hearing. That's
it almost makes you think that it's a way for the manufacturer to say, okay, if there's just a 30-day supply of cars, floor plan assistance might go away.
You know what else might go away? We have the latest data from Cox Automotive. This is their monthly new vehicle update. Let's just jump right to this chart.
Incentives.
Blue line, incentives as a percentage of average transaction price. Orange line, average new car transaction price. Floor plan assistance goes away. Yeah, so are incentives. Gone.
Yes.
As a manufacturer.
Gone and soon to be forgotten.
It's interesting, actually, when you start to look at the data. Vans have the lowest incentives expressed as a percentage of average transaction price at 1.6%. Trucks, 3.7%. When we were talking to the Black Book team yesterday, Dad, I asked them, should we still go buy a van? Should we go buy a
full? And the answer was
yes.
Yes.
Because manufacturers aren't making them.
Yes.
I mean, this market, it's everything that we've been talking about, but unfortunately, when you look at that crystal ball, everything looks worse. I can't believe I'm saying that.
It doesn't bode well for consumers moving forward. The average transaction price today, even though it has dropped over the last 3 months, is still on new cars a tad under $46,000, and by a tad like $77.
And that's buoyed by the fact that average transaction prices for cars, where was it on here? Let me
It's
pull it up.
actually gone up.
Well, cars, but it's 41,000. Where
Yes.
is it? Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. Let me share my screen with everyone. Cars increasing as all other segments decreased. Cars had an average transaction price of $41,570. Vans were $55,000.
Okay.
Oh, trucks, excuse me.
Trucks, yeah.
Vans were 47,000 right over here, and SUVs were 44. That's a $13,000 price difference between a new car and a new truck.
And I would dare say that probably the majority of the people buying trucks are buying them as their everyday driver and not buying them as a work vehicle. And so think of the money they could save if they, I don't know, buy a car as an everyday driver. That's $13,000 they could save right there. That's the first year's expense for owning a vehicle that they could save right there.
That's crazy. It's really crazy.
No, it is crazy. But what's crazy is if all manufacturers start subscribing to this theory that we should have a 30 to a 45-day supply of cars at dealers' lots, which means everybody will have accepted the fact that MSRP is the best number in most cases that you're going to get. And the vast majority will have accepted the fact that they would be willing to pay a premium above MSRP in order to get the vehicle that they want. So as a consumer, the cost of getting a car is only going to continue to go up as long as manufacturers decide to produce less and less vehicles.
And again, what we're hearing, rumblings, are that 2022's, as soon as maybe the end of this month, we might start hearing from some of the manufacturers saying, hey, we're not going to continue to start and stop. You go to the homepage of Automotive News, every single day there's a new start and stop. And if you remember, Pops, it was April 4th and April 11th this week and last week, GM and Ford both shut down plants.
Yes.
Like GM and Ford are not operating at full capacity right now here in the United States.
No, not in North America.
Not in North America.
And your European manufacturers certainly aren't operating at full capacity. The amount of lost production last week was close to 100,000 vehicles, and about 97,000 or 98,000 of those vehicles were, well, in Europe. So it's everywhere, but it just means that prices are going to continue to go up for both new and pre-owned.
Okay, and let's hit on pre-owned because we didn't get to really dive into the numbers from the latest Black Book market update yesterday with their team. Please don't call us. We're not taking phone calls right now.
Yeah.
The market overall stayed flat.
Yes.
Vehicles depreciated 0.15% on the wholesale market. Cars increased 0.12, trucks decreased 0.28.
Yes.
Pops. Subcompact and compact cars appreciated significantly week over week.
While things were dropping. And
full-size crossovers depreciated 1.7%
yes.
week over week.
Yes. So what it points out is that the higher gas prices are finally starting to impact wholesale values on vehicles that either get good gas mileage, those are appreciating more rapidly, and those that get poor gas mileage are depreciating at a quicker rate, which was something that we speculated that we thought we would see back in the middle of March when the gas prices were really starting to get up there. And finally, it's taken a month, but it's coming to fruition.
Nice to see Anthony here. Anthony works down at the Mercedes-Benz dealership.
Yes, he does.
Thanks for shaking our hand the other day, and thanks for reminding us that neither of us can afford a Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, speak for yourself.
No, it's just, I know your financial situation. We're very open with one another. Neither of us can afford a Mercedes-Benz.
Well,
the Ray Shep's 10% rule. You should not spend more than 10% of your income.
But if I wanted to just wipe out future inheritance for you and your sister, I could be leaving you a car with a large note on it.
Thank you for that, Bobs. Yeah, we'd really appreciate it. Now,
Yes.
the other phenomena that we're seeing, and I'm going to pull back up the Black Book market update. It's
Yeah.
down here at the bottom. Let me scroll to it. Let me scroll to it. Let me scroll to it.
Well, we're hoping you scroll to it.
Right here.
Okay.
The strength of the 18 to 16-year-old vehicles continued last week. That was the prior storyline, was we saw 8 to 16-year-old vehicles that appreciated
Yes.
last week on the wholesale used car market. They appreciated again 0.18% compared to 2 to 8-year-old vehicles that depreciated 0.15%.
Yes.
This phenomena, we think, is primarily tied to, I hate to use this word because it feels so out of place here, affordability. The only affordable used cars are 8 to 16-year-old used cars.
Yes.
That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And it's primarily because rental car companies are not bidding those ones up. Rental car companies are bidding up the 2 to 5-year-old used cars.
And affordability is a relative term. And what I mean by that is the initial purchase price certainly might be more affordable, but the cost of maintaining an 8 to 16-year-old vehicle in a lot of cases will be astronomical, because there'll be any number of issues that are discovered on a bunch of those vehicles, well, after ownership has transferred to the new owner. And so there could be huge spikes in the amount of money that people have to pay to bring those cars up to safe driving standards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You and I did a little experiment earlier, and I'm going to share it on the screen. So if you go to the website and you go to buying, you go to the
Yes.
vehicle listings.
Yes.
Let's do this again. Let's see if anything updated. So there are currently 2.8 million vehicles for sale nationwide.
Allegedly speaking.
Yeah. Who knows how many of them are actually,
Yes.
because if you go to new cars, for example, we should see, a bunch of Porsches. Change my zip code really quick. 20814, where we are here in Bethesda, Maryland. Let's see. In transit. So a lot
Yes.
of vehicles are in transit. They're
Yes.
not actually for sale. They're already probably spoken for. That being said,
Yes.
I'm going to get rid of new. Let's look at total price less than, name an affordable figure.
$15,000.
$15,000. This is with taxes and fees. And then let's look at, I don't know, year. Let's do 2010. I want to see how many, if you want to buy a 2010,
Yeah.
2022. Let's see.
112,000.
Slim Pickens.
He was a hell of an actor. I don't know if you remember him.
I mean, if
Oh,
you,
no, you wouldn't. He was dead long before.
and
you
let's
were
look at
born.
some of these. So we've got a 2011
Sonata.
Hyundai Sonata with 108,000 miles.
Yeah, well, you used to drive a Sonata.
2012 Acura TL with 140,000 miles.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see how many have less than 100,000 miles.
Oh, it's not going to be a lot.
27,000.
Yeah.
So we're down
Yeah.
to 1%.
And that makes you wonder, are these vehicles that really have less than 100,000 miles, or have their odometers been tampered with to reflect less than 100,000?
A 2012 Hyundai Ascent, 83,000 miles. I mean, no problem. No problem. It's just when you start to look at like what your options are,
Yeah.
pretty slim.
Yes. Yes.
Pretty scary stuff.
Well, we have been saying it for quite some time that the number of people who can actually afford to buy a car in this country is dropping dramatically. I don't think, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I really have limited expenses.
Yeah.
My condo's paid for. The taxes are what, a total of $2,200 a year. My common area fees that I pay to the condo association, $512 a month. I don't have a lot of it. My car payment's $380. I don't have a lot of expenses.
Let that sink in for a second. Your car payment is half of what the average new car payment is.
Which leads me to say that I don't know how people can. I mean, I'm a man of relative means with limited expenses, and I don't know how I could afford a $700 a month car payment, which is pretty close to the average car payment in America today. how do people do it that, a family of four with the husband and wife both working, and maybe they make $100,000 between the two of them, and they've got to feed the kids and they got to feed themselves, and all the expenses you don't know yet, but all the expenses that are associated with having children, it's like a never-ending money pit. Okay.
Thanks, by the way.
My pleasure. But it just, and then on top of that, you're a family of four, so you need two vehicles because you work in one location and your wife works somewhere. How do people do it? And pay rent or a mortgage. How do you do it? I mean, literally, I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, trust me, I'm in the dark on that one as well. Let's go to the chat for a quick second here, Pops. Igor says, Zach, I sold my mother's 2005 Mercedes-Benz ML 500 Special Edition with 73,000 miles for over $10,000.
Oh my God.
That's how bad the market is. WL says millions of dollars for advertising new cars that do not exist. Why? I actually wonder this quite frequently as well. Great question, WL. We said at the beginning of all this craziness was because the dollars were already committed.
But I will explain part of it to you.
Huh.
Part of it is that there's local advertising associations that are set up by the various manufacturers. Okay, and they charge the dealers X number of dollars per car that go into their marketing area as advertising dollars.
Sure.
So there's all these regional groups, localized groups that are contributing, whether it be $250 or $400 per car into this advertising fund. Well, the manufacturers aren't saying, hey, let's disband this because, well, they're getting the dealers to pay for a lot of the advertising. So they're keeping that in place, and well, there's money that has to be spent. They have to disperse that money. And so they keep advertising.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I'm looking here in the chat, Pops. Alan says, 3 years ago, I paid $19,700 for a 2019 Hyundai Sonata. Carvana is still selling it, but he had a typo. They're selling it for $22,900. He bought it 3 years ago. The prices are crazy. And I see a few others in the chat saying what Carvana's offering them. Carvana offered to buy my 2015 Ford Fiesta SE for $81,380. And we've got Dallin here saying Carvana just offered me $13,500 for a 2014 Nissan Rogue with 77,000 miles. We are about to see a significant increase, I think, in wholesale used car prices over the next couple months. Again, rumblings of manufacturers saying, hey, we just want to stockpile supplies.
Let's pull the plug on 2022, stockpile the chips and the wiring harnesses and all the other supply chain issues we have, build up enough supply so that we can have a normal, or what the new normal 2023 model year production run would be.
And so if you're like Enrique, how much can I get for my 2011 Silverado with 36,000 miles, clean title, clean inside out?
More than you could ever imagine.
And wait a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because it'll and this is the time where when you rerun that Carvana offer every week, it's not going to go down.
No,
it might like once out of the three, but keep doing it's going to go up. There is every indication that prices are going to go up. Igor saying on that Mercedes-Benz ML, wholesale was $4,500, retailed a few months ago for less than $6,500 to $7,500 maximum. You sold it for $10,500.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it really
I
is.
wish we still had that Maxima that the
wow, look at this, learning fast. $61,000 from Carvana for my 6-month-old Tesla Model 3 that I paid that including tax for it.
Wow,
6 months of driving a Tesla around, you can turn. It's absolutely insane. Here we go.
That's how you can buy a car today.
Yeah, just turn around.
Then turn around, you sell it 6 months later, and really it hasn't cost you anything.
John wants to know how many cars will be lost from production in 2022? 8 million or 10 million plus? What do you think?
Well, the number that we had heard was going to be somewhere between 5 and 7 million. Last year, it fell between 10.5 and 11 million. If the rumblings we're hearing are true, then I wouldn't be surprised if that number was somewhere between 8 to 10 million.
Yeah.
If they just say that,
they
just say, you know what, we can't keep doing this.
It's April 12th.
Yes.
Automotive news at the beginning of every month since we've been working on YA, which is 2 years now.
Yes.
at the beginning of every month. You know what Automotive News puts out?
Day
A
supply of
day's
cars?
supply of inventory for the different manufacturers. And that
Yes.
list has dwindled. It is April 12th. I refresh this page every morning.
Yes.
They haven't put it out. I think you're going to see more and more information withheld from automakers, from industry publications, because no one wants to really paint how dire this picture is going to be. And we actually see, I'm going to say this is good to see. This is a dose of reality. CarMax says dwindling consumer confidence dinged used vehicle sales in latest quarter. Yeah, no, I was about to say that's what.
Yeah, but you no kidding.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You mean the
K word.
You mean the fact that we've got 8% month over or year over year inflation?
Yeah.
No kidding that consumers don't have as much confidence. You mean the fact that the prices for that used car are more than what the original MSRP was? No, good. No kidding. So it's good that we actually see some headlines like that, but like the music has stopped. In my opinion, the party's over. Record dealer profits, the party's over. We don't have cars to sell. Consumers are how does
A tear is almost coming to my eye.
I don't know, man. I just don't see from everyone we talk to.
Yes.
From all the different places we look for information. Like last year, end of last year.
Yes.
Toyota was putting out headlines that were 2022, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, they're not.
It's April. And
Yeah.
they literally just said, we're not okay. They had shut down their plants. What was it? It was like 4 weeks ago now that they had shut down their plants. 80% of their plants in Japan.
Yes. Yeah, because they haven't quite figured out how to mitigate the supply chain issues as they had hoped. And between earthquakes, natural disasters, war, famine, pestilence, there's just no way of being able to accurately predict what's going to be available. So rather than do that, maybe it's almost time to admit defeat.
Gabriel says, still good time to buy a 2022 model or wait for the 2023s? I don't know.
I do.
I don't know.
Here, I'll make it easy. Buying today will be cheaper than buying tomorrow, and buying tomorrow will be cheaper than buying the next day. Between inflation and shortages of vehicles, the values are only going to continue to go up. So it should be, in reality, cheaper to buy today than it will be tomorrow. Now, here's the real key.
Huh.
If you don't need to buy a car, don't. Okay? If you need to buy a car, if you don't have a car because
you get in an accident, whatever happens.
Yes, then buy it today because it's cheaper than tomorrow. If you don't need to buy a car, stay out of the market. The longer people stay out of the market, the greater the likelihood is that at some point in the future, with dwindling demand, that we might see a slight lowering of pricings.
Yeah. All right, Pops. I want to pull up one thing real quick, which is we've got questions around, well, how much is my car actually worth? I'm super proud of what we built. Go back to joinyaa.com and click on selling, or just go to joinyaa.com/valuation. And when you reach the selling page and it eventually loads, there we go. We've created a fair market value calculation. This is not necessarily a trade-in. To be clear, actually, it's not a trade-in. Go get your trade-in from Carvana.
Yeah.
If you're going to try and sell your car, this is what you would expect the dealership's going to ultimately end up asking for. So plug your VIN in there, put what state you're in, and the exact mileage on your vehicle. If you got 37,000 even, just do that instead of 37,250. That's fine. And get your fair market value. This is what the dealer's going to turn around and sell the car for.
This will give you some indication as to what you might be able to retail the car for if you wanted to.
Exactly. And I'm proud of us for creating essentially a retail value. And there's no spam. There's no BS. You're not going to get hit up by any dealers. Of course, we still have no affiliation with any dealers or anything like that. But this will give you that number, the number that the retail number, not the KBB, 26,000 dealer turns around. It's listed for 33.
Yes.
Now, look at what your real retail value is also. Taxman taketh, we giveth. Use code TAX. We've got a 20% discount going on right now on YAA membership. So excited.
And that's good through, tax day, April 18th.
It is indeed.
Yes.
Now, Pops,
yes.
Humor me really quick and let's toss on some headphones.
God.
I know, it's a reach. You got it. Proud of you. All right, I'm going to open this up really quick and then I'm going to play a quick song. Well, it's not a
Oh,
song.
I
It's more
love
like,
songs.
more like an ad lib. Give me a second.
Spotify?
Not Spotify. All right. Let me hit the button here.
Really? You gotta
gotta
be kidding me.
Okay, this was on Twitter, Dad.
Yes.
Welcome to the future. Cop pulls over driverless car because no lights. Then cruise goes on.
Oh, wait, I just go back to that for a second. I wonder if Seth and I are related. My mother's maiden name was Weintraub.
There you go.
Look at that, Seth. We could be related, buddy.
There is a possibility. All right. I mean, like, they get multiple police officers
Yeah,
here.
what do you do? How do you stop it?
Isn't
Yeah.
this insane?
Yes.
Is that not a glimpse into what the future is, Deb?
Well, if that's the future, I'd like to miss it.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, yeah. I mean, what do you do I mean, how do you tell the car, hey, you forgot to put your headlights on?
I mean, I don't know if there's a way that you can. I mean, so we weren't there. We don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But I guess they called Cruise, they called GM, they said, hey, you got a car with this light. Like, the police. It's insane to me that we're piloting this technology in the real world. There's an adage, or I guess a saying, when an engineer or an architect, creates a new bridge,
Yeah.
the first person that tests it out, that goes underneath it, is the architect. That's what you do. You don't put like a commoner. We're testing these
I
things.
think it's an engineer.
You're testing these things.
Yes.
With you and me on the roads. I don't love that. I really don't love that.
Well, the good news is you don't have a car, so you don't have to worry about it.
I mean, it is pretty crazy. Sean
Yes, it
agrees.
is.
Sean agrees. It's pretty. Shot the tires out.
Yeah, I mean, how do you barricade one of those
Ghosting the
vehicles?
police.
Yeah.
Who gets the ticket in driverless cars?
It's a good question.
Pablo, what happens when a car gets in an accident? Hits a toddler. Yeah, I mean, some programmer. Is the programmer held responsible for that?
I don't know. That's
a
why I'm
bridge
not.
engineer designs a bridge. That's a good point, Ahmed.
Yeah. As opposed to that architect who's designing the building that you're going to get to on the other side of the bridge.
This is fair. We tossed a poll up on the YAA channel, and I'm just going to take a peek at it. If we offered a service where you paid us a set fee and we did all the communications with the dealer to buy your next car, would you do it? You tell us what you want. We do the rest. Please share your thoughts in the comments. This is interesting, Dad, because this is how YAA started.
Yes.
The good old days of YAA were you and me at your condo, just you and me, and Arash was helping.
Yeah.
We were negotiating car deals for people.
Yes.
It's interesting. 60% of people would pay up to $500. And if you include, 79% of people would pay.
No. Where do you say 60%?
59%.
Where do you get 59%?
59% would pay up to $250.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
But what's interesting is people want this. I'm stuck on it. I'm stuck on it because some people also, you go to read the comments, some people also want, I've been hoping for y'all to do this. YAA certified dealership. Yeah, definitely. People want, I'd pay 1%. People want to pay, I'd pay you $1,000 if you can show me a list of how you saved me more. This is what's interesting is like, how do you determine how much you saved? Is it like
What's
you
your
get
time worth?
But it's no, and I'm not asking in I'm legitimately asking actually. I would need more info. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really interested in getting people's takes here because I'm if people want it, we'll figure out a way to deliver it. I know you're not doing it.
I'm out.
I know you're not.
I'm too old for that nonsense these days.
Flat fee. Leave your comment over here or leave your comments in the chat. I'll be really curious to read those. Yeah, let's see. A wheel chuck would stop it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
There should be someone watching the point of view of the car sitting in a building and make sure it's driving correctly. Doesn't that like kind of defeat the purpose of self-driving?
I just, when the cop goes up and says, I would need to see your license and registration, please. I mean,
Whoever produced the car is liable. Okay, interesting. We'll have to learn more about that.
Yes.
All right, let's call it a show for today, Ted.
Okay.
YA Electric. Justin and I will be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. on the Pacific. Please come over and join us there. We'll be back at noon tomorrow here.
With more news that you can use.
And I'm interested in hearing, Spencer says 500 is a fair number. Alex says, please do that service. The current experience is not, Tesla has it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is essentially create the Tesla model, but for all the other dealers and just do it through YAA. And we you push the button on the website and then we do it. Like, that's what I want to get to.
God bless you.
All right, let's call it a day.
Thank you, everybody. We look forward to seeing you all back here tomorrow at 11 for Plugged In and noon for news that you can use.
Love you, Pops. Thank you, guys. See you
Yep.
tomorrow.
Bye-bye, everybody.